huge welcome to your MC of the event, Mr. Ricardo Bueno.
How's everyone doing? Awesome. We're going to have some fun. I've been in the business now for 12 years, I think. I got started at an amazing time. I got started right during the subprime market collapse. So how many of you have been around in the business long enough to have gone through a few markets? So it's funny. When I tried building my business, agents would tell me, "That's cute, honey. Go get some experience and then come talk to me." Or, "No thanks, I already have an in-house lender." I needed a way to build a sort of competitive advantage in a market where I was frankly young, didn't know what I was doing, who I was networking with. My competitive advantage became I just was going to out-teach, out-hustle, out-educate my competitors. I started a website called The Industry Report, and I literally wrote a piece of content every day, Monday through Friday. I would talk about what's happening on the economic calendar that's going to impact mortgage rates. Should you lock or float your rate, and then pricing on a 30-year fix, 5-1 arm, 7-1 arm, et cetera, et cetera. Consumers will literally tell me, "My God, you're young, but you sure taught me more than the next guy, than the last guy." Or, "I really want to work with you because you just sat down and you're a wealth of knowledge," right? I think when we talk about our business today, for me, I try to lead with value. I try to, when we're talking either sales or anything else, I'm going to out-teach my competition. In this business, I think the way that you develop a competitive advantage is by coming to events like this and just surrounding yourself with the right people. I think the way that you future-proof your business is by doing those things. There was a point that I wanted to say here and I'm losing it. It's okay. It's early.
You're here with friends.
That's fine. The agents that do well in their business are the agents that sort of focus on certain cornerstones of their business. To me, low-hanging fruit or the foundations of your business, like the cornerstones of your business, are your past clients. That's low-hanging fruit. What am I doing to get and create an experience to generate more repeat and referral business from my past client database? The other foundation of your business is the relationships that you build with your title, your escrow, your lenders. What are you doing to help level up each of those partners in your business? When I talk, I used to sell title. When I talk to other people in the business, I meet with an escrow CEO every week and a mortgage broker every week. We sit down, we talk, we meet with other agents, our competitors. Our philosophy is rising tide lifts all boats, right? There's enough business out there for us to be open book, share that knowledge, and again, distribute that knowledge. Rising tide lifts all boats. The other cornerstones of your business are, what are you doing to continually educate yourself to help level up that knowledge, and it's coming to events like this. So like Grant said, the speakers that you're gonna learn from over the next 48 hours are amazing. Take everything that you can, value those insights, ask questions, ask them the hard questions, and let's get started. Our first speaker is Keith Pike. Like to welcome him to the stage. Employs over 200 real estate professionals. You won an award for most RE/MAX agents hired in a year. Let's welcome him to the stage. He's going to talk about how to market-proof your business, develop the right mindset. Let's get started.
This is kind of cool. Okay, guys, my name is Keith Pike, and there's just a handful of you in this room that know me. I have a funny story about this logo here in a second. I am friends with most of the speakers, really good friends. We vacation together. We spent Labor Day weekend at Cocoa Beach together. We go to Costa Rica together. We go to Puerto Rico together. I'm constantly surrounding myself with these high-performing individuals to really absorb how they think and how they act and how their thought processes, so that I can internalize those things and become better. My topic is the market-proof mind, because about 90%, we know what we're supposed to be doing, we're just not doing it, right? So about 90% of our problems are between our two ears. And I have learned some things that I'm going to share with you guys today. I'm actually going to make you do some of it so that you can practice it. But my funny story about this is Grant was like, when you sent us over your slide, we're like, why did half the logo disappear? And they were like, oh, that's his title, The Market-Proof Mind. I don't know. Where's my clicker? Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I got into real estate in 2003, 2004. I was always a part-time agent. Never really sold very much. I got in because I was building houses while I was in college. And I thought, oh, I'm going to cut out the real estate agent. And then I was going to be a computer programmer. I ended up going to work for Dillard's corporate headquarters. Worked there for 8 years. While I was at Dillard's corporate headquarters, I did some things that most people are dumbfounded about. And I continue to do things, and people keep asking me why, and I'm going to share it with you. So in 2003, I started working I graduated college, started working at Dillard's corporate. 2006, I decided that while I was a full-time computer programmer and while I was a real estate agent at Keller Williams, I was also going to enroll in the Masters of Business Administration program at University of Central Arkansas, which was about 30 minutes from where I lived. And at the same time, I enrolled in the Juris Doctorate program to become an attorney at the University of Arkansas at Little Rock. And so my day, what it looked like was I would wake up at 5 a.m. and I would go to Dillard's. I worked 6 to 4 at Dillard's. And the shift was 6 to 3, but they allowed me to work. The shift was actually 7 to 4, but they allowed me to come in an hour early so that I could take a 2-hour lunch. And what I did at my lunch break is I went out to my car and I drove 30 minutes to Conway and sat through an hour of MBA class. And then I drove back to work and finished the work day at 4. And at 4 o'clock, I would go out to my car and change into a suit, and I would drive to a law firm. I was a law clerk for 2 law firms downtown, the Friday Eldridge and Clark, which is the largest law firm in Arkansas, and Williams and Anderson, and another prominent law firm. And I would change into a suit. I would work there for an hour, and then I would, about an hour and a half, and then I would go out to my car, change into casual clothes, drive to the law school, and from 6 to 9 I would be in class, and then at 9 o'clock I would go to the library. The library operated until 11, and I would go there until 11, do all my readings and everything that I had to do for that day, and then at 11 o'clock I would drive to the real estate office. I would either work on the real estate transactions that I had going, which wasn't very many to be honest, but I always went after I left the law library because I was never done with my work. So I would go there because I needed to work at an office. If I went home, I was going to go to sleep. And I would stay there until midnight or 1. I would go home, I'd get 4 hours of sleep. I did this for 4 years. And I graduated with my MBA with a 4.0. I was number 6 out of 160 or 170 people in my law school graduating class. Not because I'm smart by any means, but because I put in the work that I had to do. And no one could understand how I was able to do all those things and not be completely stressed out of my mind. And that has been a common theme about my life. Since that point, I had to figure out how to accomplish all of those things without getting in my own way. And so today, I own 4 real estate offices, 4 RE/MAX offices. I have about 250 real estate agents. We do 3,000 transactions a year. We close a house every 30 minutes of every business day. So today, while I'm here, I'll be closing a house every 30 minutes. Not only that, I have a mortgage company with 6 loan originators. I have a media company with 5 videographers and photographers that shoot all of our listings, not only all of our listings and promo videos, we shoot all of the commercials for all the big hospitals in Little Rock. We have major contracts. We're not only that, we're the exclusive media company for a lot of our competitors. My biggest competitors are also my biggest clients. They don't know that I own the company because it's nowhere on social media or anything. In addition to that, I run a real estate school, a full real estate school. We service about 60 to 75 people every month between continuing education, pre-license courses, post-license courses, and broker classes. And in addition to that, I'm a coach. I actually coach some people in this room. I'm a coach for John Cheplack. I coach with him, but I'm also a coach for him. And I coach people all over the country. And I even coach 2 huge brokerage owners in Canada. So I'm going to share how I do all of this. By the way, you would think that if I'm running all of these companies, and I own all of them by myself, if I'm running all these companies, I would have to be completely stressed out all the time. And surely they can't be all successful. They're all award-winning, right? So I broker owner of the year for the entire country for RE/MAX. I was broker owner of the year for the entire country for my mortgage company. Not only that, I was recruiter of the year. I added more agents than any other RE/MAX in the country. There's a lot of RE/MAXs, by the way. So I'm going to share how I do this, and the secret is in this. I've got to talk about lion taming, and I promise you, this is going to all make a lot of sense when I wrap this up with a bow at the end. But this is a very familiar scene, a guy in some sort of cage or arena with some big cats, either big tigers or big lions, and they typically tame them with something small, and we're mesmerized by it, right? And this kind of profession really took off at the turn of the last century. We didn't have streaming Netflix, and the Kardashians weren't on TV. So this is what people did. They went and saw people get literally eaten alive. This wasn't a profession you stayed in very long because that little stick doesn't do anything. In case you didn't know, like those lions killed a lot of the tamers. And then came along a guy named Clyde Beatty. And Clyde is super fascinating to me. He was born in 1903. And I know what you're thinking. Get to the point. You don't have to go back to 1903 to tell us the story. I'm telling you this because this was revolutionary, where his brain was thinking about the mind is more powerful than physical strength. As a teenager, he left home and joined the circus. I'm sure he made his parents very proud. Actually, he did make them very proud because while he was alive, he became very, very famous. Does anybody know what he became famous for?
Lion tamer.
Yes, but what did he do with lion taming? No. He became famous for this. Using a chair to tame a lion. And there was always chairs in the arena when they were taming wild beasts. But they would be whipping them to get in the chair or do something, right? And one day he took one of the chairs, or they would put a chair in front of them to block a lion from attacking them. One day he took a chair and he held it up, and he realized that he could better tame a lion with a chair. And in fact, he ended up taming 43 lions and tigers of both sexes at the same time in the same arena by himself, for which he today still holds the world record. And you can look that up on Wikipedia, by the way. Does anybody know why this works? It's the same reason as what's preventing you from having an easy shift along with the market. It's this right here. When the lion sees four things coming at them, the lion becomes confused of which one to swat at. And they go through the same thought process as we do as humans. If I can't do my four fingers like a chair, so you're gonna have to do five. We're gonna have to have a five-legged chair. If the lion is processing, if I swat one of those away, are the rest of them going to attack me, right? So the lion becomes paralyzed from fear. They could easily swat that whole thing away and kill that man, but it doesn't. So here's the question. Which matters more? The chair or the lion's perception of the chair? So we have to apply that to what's going on in the market today. Like what matters more? The fact that the Fed is hiking interest rates or the perception of that? That interest rates are at 5%, 5.5%, or the perception of that? By the way, these are the same interest rates that we had in 2019. And in 2019, who's in real estate? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you were in business in 2019, pre-COVID. Okay. In 2019, we thought we were printing money. It was the best real estate market we had since 2007. And everything was up, everything was great. But guess what? They had also the Fed had also hiked rates 7 times. And interest rates were 5.5%. I know this because I owned a mortgage company at the time. Things were amazing. Now we have this perception that it's bad because we didn't know what amazing was until COVID happened, right? We didn't know that somebody that didn't have any talent could come right out of real estate school and get a listing and have 20 offers in the first hour thinking they were a superstar. But now, like, things slow down a little bit and you only get one offer and you're like, this market's shit. Okay, so do you know why your dog is happier than you? I'm going to explain how all this works. This is why your dog's happier than you. This is what your dog sees when they look at something. And this is what we see. And there's a reason that we see these things. Mainly because we have an untrained mind. So the untrained mind usually produces automatic thoughts and emotions that make life feel stressful, annoying, and monotonous. We live about the first 6 or 7 years of our life without automatic thoughts. And we are in absorption mode as kids. And that's why kids live in the moment. And it's why those 6 or 7 years seem to last 3 or 4 times as long than it does as an adult. Because they're living in that moment. Thousands of people were surveyed, asking them to describe how they experience a typical workday. They reported 79% of a typical workday is stressful, annoying, monotonous, or including escape activities like drinking, watching TV, or surfing the internet. I imagine gummies are part of that as well, or some other recreational drug. So we don't pick the large majority of our thoughts. They're produced automatically without choosing to. We often ruminate. We think deeply on painful things from our past or worry about what could go wrong in our future. This is by instinct. When we burn ourselves on a fire, we have to worry about if we stick our hands back in the fire again, burning ourselves. So our brains have learned to process what has previously happened to us make us worry about things that could happen to us in the future because it's in survival mode. And the big problem with this is that our instincts as humans is to survive, right? And our brains can't distinguish the threat of a saber-toothed tiger from the threat of missing a deadline, right? And the first thing that probably many of you can relate to when you wake up is that your brain automatically kicks in and starts thinking these automatic thoughts of all the things that there is to do, or all the things that could go wrong, or all the things that you have to worry about that day, right? Can anybody relate to this? Okay. So we immediately wake up living in the past, right? These automatic thoughts start going. We start thinking about it. We internalize it. We have a 8-to-1 negativity bias. So on average, our brain produces 8 negative thoughts for every positive thought. A consequence of this is that it causes automatic emotions. So we don't pick our emotions. They're a result of these automatic neurotransmissions that our brain sends out, and hormone releases. And it's produced by the brain in response to what happens to us and what we think about, so that it can put us in survival mode, like fight or flight mode. Our brain will release adrenaline so that maybe we can escape a threat. And if we constantly have a threat, whether we received a nasty email or text message from somebody, or there's a fire that's about to burn us, or there's a saber-toothed tiger that's about to kill us, it's the same reaction from our brain. And it's automatic. We're not choosing to do it, right? Since we automatically think about a lot of negative things, our mind produces a lot of negative emotions, which results in our life experiences being formed by these. It's not about what's happening so much as about our thoughts and emotions about what is happening. And this is the reason that many people will fail out of this business. And this is the reason that many people couldn't do what I did and handle 4 years of getting multiple advanced degrees, high performing through multiple universities in different cities. Because it's not about going through those things and what's happening. It's about stressing and worrying and dreading about the things that we're going through, right? They make life feel stressful, dissatisfying, annoying, monotonous, leading us to self-medicate through alcohol, drugs, shopping, eating, television, video games, and social media. Can anybody relate to that? I imagine everyone in this room. Everyone is probably, even though it's 9:30 in the morning, like, when is the bar open? Especially if you're in real estate. The result, besides making life less enjoyable, by the way, I don't drink, I do all this, I don't drink caffeine for the most part. I don't do cocaine. I've never done cocaine in my life. I don't take any uppers or Adderall, any of those things. I don't take antidepressants. I don't take anti-anxiety medicine, none of that. Besides making life less enjoyable, these thought and emotional patterns also diminish our focus, resilience, sleep, and ability to be present with others. This causes our performance to suffer. I'm going to show y'all something here in a second. I'm going to actually make y'all do it, of how I am present with other people. And there's an agent, one of my agents is in the room. She has lots of interactions with me. She knows that I'm not completely stressed out all the time, that I am able to handle things as they come without worrying about them. When I go on vacation, I'm completely present with the people that I'm with. I'm living in that moment and I'm enjoying it and soaking it up. And I can do that without worrying about everything that's happening back home. So because of where this causes a lack of sleep and resilience and ability to be present with others, this causes our performance to suffer. Dr. Richard Davidson said it's possible to strategically change our brains to better suit our lives, to reduce stress, and ultimately to cultivate well-being. So let me explain to you how the brain works. So this is our brains are not They're made of two cortices, and they're completely separate. If you took my brain out of my head, the left and the right would be completely separate, except for 300 million fibers that connect it towards the bottom. And each processes things differently. So we don't really live in a true reality. What happens is there's two realities happening. We have a left brain that is processing reality, and we have a right brain that's processing reality. And our left brain is linear, and it takes things from the past and processes them and projects things into the future so that we know maybe likely results or something that could happen, right? And the left brain is, for the first 7 years of our life, storing all kinds of information. And then around 6 or 7, it starts processing that information. It takes that information and it's analyzing it and analyzes it again, and then it gives us likely results of things that might happen, things that cause fear, and the other things that we talked about. The right side processes time and relationships in the moment. Our right brain is all of our senses. So our right brain is processing things that we hear and that we see and that we taste and that we smell. Our right brain can't distinguish between where we stop and where something else starts. So if I have a stroke in my left brain and I put my hand on this table, I can feel the pressure, but I don't know the exact place where my hand stops and this table starts. Our left brain is what does that for us. Our left brain tells us where we are and when we are. The left brain knows that I woke up this morning and at 6:30 and that a certain amount of time has passed. It knows it's still morning. It knows that I drove here from Little Rock last night. It knows that I'm still in Arkansas. It knows my time and place. My left brain knows that I am separate from that table right there. What happens is, in real time, our brain, the left and the right, is reconciling what is happening in real time, and it gives us our perceived reality. We can all have different perceived realities based on how dominant the left or the right brain is, how much we let one of them take over. This is something that most of us take for granted, that it reconciles properly. When it doesn't reconcile properly, it's for people that have some sort of psychiatric problem. So if you have schizophrenia, or if you have bipolar disorder and you're in psychosis, the brain doesn't reconcile properly. And what happens is, a normal functioning brain can dream. And we can think about things in the future. And we can think about how that would make us feel. We can feel that. So I didn't eat breakfast this morning. And I can think, at lunch, I'm just really going to tear up a sandwich. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so satisfying. My brain will start releasing. It'll start firing things off, start releasing things that make me happy, right? If there's a misfire, and you have schizophrenia or you're in a psychosis stage from bipolar disorder or another disease, your brain can't separate a dream from reality, right? So when they think about things, also drugs will do this too. So like acid or mushrooms can do something. The brain will think about things, imagine things, and your brain is not reconciling, doesn't know that it's not real. Those people react to things as they're real. We call them delusions, right? So there is a way that you can control which brain you're actually in. I want you to write this down. This is Jill Bolte Taylor. She has this amazing, amazing TED Talk called My Stroke of Insight, where she's a neuroscientist. This is the most amazing thing. She's a neuroscientist, studies brains. Her brother is a schizophrenic, and one day she had a stroke on the left side of her brain. And she studied the brains, how the brain functions her whole life. And the left side of her brain died, and she, in real time, got to experience it. She was like, how cool is this? Like, I can study my own brain from the inside. And she almost died as a result. She had to have brain surgery. It took her 8 years to recover. And this TED Talk is just a freaking amazing TED Talk. It's about 20 minutes long, so go listen to it. But I'm going to walk you guys through an exercise where I'm going to demonstrate how the left brain and the right brain work and how you can control it. So everybody stand up. This is going to make some of you feel very uncomfortable, just FYI. Make sure that there's room to step to your left. Okay. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to physically take a step to the left. We have taken a step to the left of our right hemisphere. And I want each of you to think about someone who has deeply betrayed you in the past. And I want you to think about what they did to you, how it made you feel. I want you to feel that hurt that it caused you, and that pain, and the ongoing lingering pain that it was never resolved. I want you to think about the fallout that has happened, that's caused for other relationships in your life. People that you've built walls up as a result. And that pain and that trauma. I want you to think through that memory and relive it. What they did to you. How bad it hurt. I want you to feel that stress. I want you to think about what it would feel like to trust that person again in the future and tell them something very vulnerable about yourself. And what they might do with it, how they might hurt you with it. Okay, open your eyes. Do you feel differently than you did before I asked you to go through that exercise? Maybe in a negative way? Like my palms are sweating thinking about it. So I want you to close your eyes back, and I want you to take a step to your right. Your right brain lives in the moment. It is all of our senses. It's absorbing all of the energy around us. I want you to put your hands up in the air. I want you to feel the air in the room on the palms of your hand. And it feels cold. And I I want you to see the light that's on the other side of your eyelids. I want you to feel the ground beneath your feet and the weight pressing down on the ground. Take a deep breath in, a deep breath out. Hear yourself breathe. Listen to the breath going in and out of your body. Feel your chest getting bigger and deflating. Slowly put your arms down to your side. I want you to hear the air conditioner in the room and the shuffling of people around you. I want you to hear little clicks, different sounds around the room. Smell the room. Appreciate what it smells like, what you're hearing. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. With your feet on the floor, they're very heavy. They're pressing against the floor so hard that you don't know where your feet stop and the floor begins. You feel energy from the bottom of your feet coming up through your body. From the core of the earth, feels like you're being pulled by this energy. It's flowing through your body from the tips of your feet down to the, up through your torso, up to the very tops of your head, out your crown chakra at the very top. You can feel the top of your head tingle. You can feel the tingling on your arms. You're living in the moment. You're present. You're picturing people around you. The chair that you were sitting in, the table that you were sitting at. Me on stage. The screen behind me. Okay, open your eyes. You feel differently than you did when you were thinking about when we stepped into the left hemisphere. Anybody? Feel a lot better, a lot brighter. Okay, you can sit down. That was done with almost no training, right? I just walked you through things and asked you to imagine them. You have the power to train your mind, to build this skill to where in any moment you can live in the present and you can shut off the left brain. Can you completely live in the right brain? No. Because guess what? My right brain doesn't give a shit about this presentation. It just wants to be free and happy, right? My left brain is what's processing all of this to allow me to talk to you guys. Most people confuse the external stimuli with the source. So when I walked you through those things and you were feeling better or you're feeling a certain way, I didn't do anything to you, right? I didn't give you a pill. Like your brain did those things. And people will wake up in the mornings. Who are my coffee drinkers? Okay, you wake up in the morning. Let me tell me if this is true or not. So you wake up and you either go to Starbucks, you make a cup of coffee, and you look in that coffee. There's a bunch of little lightning bolts in there. They're just like buzzing around. And you drink it, and those lightning bolts are just all inside of you. They give you the energy. Is that what happens?
Yes.
Does anybody know how coffee works? This is a true story. Does anybody know how coffee works?
It just suppresses your sleepy.
Yep. Coffee tells your brain, just forget you're tired. Right? When you take a Xanax or a Klonopin or a Valium, it tells your brain, forget you have problems. Forget to worry. Right? We want certain outcomes, and so we drink things, we take things, smoke things to poke and prod our brains to do what we want them to do. And we are confusing that external stimuli as being the source of the goodness. The source of feeling good is your brain. We're just poking and prodding the brain to make us feel good. You can poke and prod your brain without external stimuli. Is this making sense to anybody?
Yeah.
So how do I use this in my business? How many people have been in business at least a year? Okay. Raise your hand if you don't have a clue what the fuck you're doing. Okay. You probably do. One person. Right? So, you already know what you need to be doing. If you own a brokerage or you own a team, you know you need to be recruiting. The lifeblood is growth, right? If you're an agent, you know you need to be reaching all your past clients. You know you need to be just checking in with them. You know you need to be using a database. You know you need to be using Follow Up Boss. You're just not doing it. Do you know why you're not doing it?
We're pre-wired to fail. That's the way to do it.
You're not doing it because of the chair. You have so much coming at you that you do what the lion does and you shut down and you paralyze. I don't do that. It's not something that my brain does anymore. So, you can either be caged, you can be comfortable, or you can be charged. If you're caged, you are living you're living inside the boundaries of something that is invisible. Your president didn't get elected, so your life is shit. Midterm elections are coming up, your life is shit. Interest rates went up, your life is shit. A competitor just came in the market. If only this competitor wasn't here, I would be number one. If only my president had gotten elected, I'd be number one. If only. You don't control any of those things, right? So you're living in this invisible cage. Or maybe you're comfortable. And you've reached to a point where you've been caged, you got out of it, and you've built a new cage. Because new hardships, you've able to overcome a lot. New hardships have presented themselves, but you're too comfortable to press on. Or you're charged. You can take control of your brain. You don't let those automatic thoughts and emotions cage you and rule your life. And you can literally do anything. I'm not stopping. I'm always open to new business ideas. Just down in Cocoa Beach, I think the group of us probably started 2 businesses together. Websites and all. You don't need the world to be a certain way for you to be okay. Right? A lot of us think this. Like, we're good until, like, we're happy and we're good until we get out of bed in the morning. Right? And then we're bad. You have that source. You can control it. It is your limitless pill. Thank you, guys. If y'all have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them. But otherwise, I'll turn it over to Grant.